that's Missin Curfew. It's when you kind of play guilty, but you show up.
You get to the rink, like, oh, there's the workout for you. You're like, played 6 minutes last night. Why do I got to work out for an hour?
Scotty Upshaw in the clear, and he scores! Shane O'Brien goes to the defense of his defensive partner.
I wonder how many times these two missed curfew in the last 2 weeks.
Probably a lot.
I don't even know if they have a curfew anymore.
They don't have a curfew anymore.
Post-playing.
They're on their own.
But Shane O'Brien, Scotty Upshaw joining us to talk about all things round one of the Stanley Cup playoffs. I think I got to maybe start with the obvious. I mean, how about those Panthers?
Yeah,
that's the team, isn't it? The Cats, Matty Tkachuk, Chuck E. Cheese, and the boys getting it done?
First of all, Jackie, I never miss curfew anymore. I'd be a great pro now. I'm in bed at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. I'm up early. I would never been in trouble. But yeah, Matty Tkachuk, unbelievable. Listen, I'll be the first to. I didn't take him in the series. I had the Boston Bruins. The character that they're showing in that dressing room, up dog, starting with their head coach, then Matty, and all the way down. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's great for their franchise, great for their fans. What they did backs up against the wall in Game 5, Game 6, and then to go into Boston and have a performance like that, to start the game off with a 2-goal lead and then to battle back in the last minute, Montour with a great tying goal, and then, number 19, he wants that team on his back. He's playing his heart out. He's great with the media.
Yeah.
He knows what to say.
He's playing some mental games with mental warfare, which I like.
It's great to
look
watch.
out,
So happy in Catsland.
What did you guys make of the whole goaltending thing with the Bruins? Ullmark didn't look right. Then they played him for 6 games. They put Swayman in for Game 7. What did you make of all that?
Yeah, EJ, that was the one question I had today, and we brought it up today. But, what Monty did with that team all year is impressive, right? 65 wins. But a game time, Game 7 decision at home in your own building, you got to go with your guy that got you there all year, your all-star, your guy that, he had a bad night in Game 6, doesn't matter. He's your guy. He's the one that wants the puck. It's a lot to throw in the backup in Game 7. It's a lot.
Yeah, and we don't know. I don't know if injuries have trickled out today. Maybe you guys have heard it NHL Network. But unless Ullmark was banged up, I was shocked. I thought Swayman went in there and played a good enough job for a Game 7. But, he's going to win the Vezina. He was the guy all year. I love Monty. I got to meet him through the Updog this year at the All-Star game, but I was shocked, EJ, with that starting goaltending.
Well, Ullmark did speak today, and he was not going to disclose his injuries, but he said there's a difference between being injured and being hurt. I wasn't injured. I was hurt. I'm paraphrasing, but that was the gist, apparently, of what he said to the media today. So make of that what you will. I'll say this. We talk a lot about the goaltending in that series, and maybe they should have played Swayman earlier. Yeah. Maybe they shouldn't have played Ullmark at all if he really was as banged up as some people seem to believe he was. But they didn't play well in front of him. I mean, they were turning pucks over.
No, it got worse and worse.
They were making bad. I mean, Game 7, I'm texting Lawrence Goldstein behind the scenes here. He's still in mourning. But I was like, what am I watching right now? Because this is not the Boston Bruins. Yeah, I don't know what team I'm watching, but that ain't it. Really quick, though, before we move on, Mr. Tkachuk, Keith Tkachuk, with the comments on the radio a few weeks ago at the end of the regular season, calling the Florida Panthers soft. I believe let's not misquote him. I'll tell you exactly what he said. I'm a little disappointed with the Panthers. They are a soft team, and they are getting everything they deserve right now. Does Keith Tkachuk deserve a little bit of an assist here for this run that the Cats are currently on?
I think he does. I mean, Big Walt, I got to spend some time with him down in South Florida at the All-Star game. Great guy, intimidating guy. And when he talks, people listen. And not only was that, if we all remember Paul Maurice going up and down the boys, I think it was in the second or third period of that hockey game. And I think that game in general, with what Walt said and Paul Maurice being an old school beauty, Updog, it turned them around in my opinion.
It got him a late tying win, a late tie, and then an overtime win. Again, Montour in overtime to get him off that skid, to get him back on track. And then they needed all the chips to fall to get in the playoffs. But again, it proves once you get in the playoffs, anything can happen. And you got to give credit. Okay, Boston, maybe they weren't their best. And Jackie, they were horrendous in the first period. But what Florida did of, the pressure and putting pressure on them and having that confidence to be like, we like the position we're in here. Like this is what we played for, and we've been fighting like this for the last month. Boston really didn't fight.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't have the Panthers making the playoffs. We don't need to point any fingers at who that was, but there was a lot of people out there that didn't think the Panthers were going to get in, EJ.
Yeah. No,
listen, those people are idiots, all right? That's just, those are the facts, Jack.
You were on that list.
I don't recall.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, we have
I don't recall.
Short memory.
I said it was
I must have been in one when I said
You
that.
might have been.
I must have been in one when I said that.
You know, I will say this about the Panthers. Good thing that they're where they are, because Calgary ended up with more points, and they were out. So, I mean, that's weird. It's just weird the way it happens sometimes.
Wow.
But good for them. They're rolling right now, and I agree about Keith Tkachuk. And I think it affected Paul Maurice, too. Because think about it, as you're the coach, you're hearing a pretty well-known guy and the father of one of the kids on your team, the player, saying that. Like, because that night, Paul, you know, he read him the riot act, as you guys point out. He might have, like, felt freer to kind of give the guys the business after Keith said what he said.
Well, you ask anyone, you know, that's been in the league or coached in the league or covered it long enough, and that word soft is one that hockey players do not like. So I'm not surprised that they responded the way that they did. I'm sure there were a lot of different factors at play, but hell of a series against the Boston Bruins. So now that Boston is out, the defending champions are out in the Colorado Avalanche, Tampa is out, the New York Rangers, who a lot of people like to go on a deep run in this postseason, they are out. So let me ask you guys this. Who is now your Cup favorite heading into round number 2? Yesterday, odds makers had the Leafs and the Oilers at the top of that list. I'm not sure how it may have shifted today with the Devils advancing, but what are your thoughts?
I think we called this before the playoffs started. I threw it out there. I'm like, wouldn't it be great for hockey for a Toronto-Edmonton Stanley Cup final?
Yeah, you did throw that out there.
Right?
Yeah.
And what better opportunity than what lies ahead for Connor McDavid to hold the Stanley Cup? For me, I think the league right now has to look around and say this is anyone's game. And for Connor and Leon to both know, like, okay, Stanley Cup champs are out, Boston Bruins are out, Colorado Avalanche, this is now an opportunity for them to go, jump on, boys. We're going to need everybody. But for me, the Edmonton Oilers are stepping ahead, and they're going to be the team to beat. I'd say all 8 teams left know that they're going to have to go through Connor McDavid to win this Stanley Cup, I think.
Yeah, I got to piggyback the updog here. I think 97 and 29 for the Oilers woke up, I don't know, Monday morning or whatever, and kind of looked at each other, maybe texted each other and said, who's going to take it from us? Because to me, that's what it is right now. Skinner got through some adversity. Yamamoto scored the series winner. I've been hard on him. But you got to think that 97 and 29, when they look at each other, they say, boys, if you want it, you're going to have to take it from us.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. The Oilers were my Cup team at the start of the playoffs. I had them beating the Bruins, so I was 1 for 2 there. I made a lot of bad picks. I would say this. I don't know why anybody would want to be the favorite this year. Like, just stay in the weeds.
It's not the year of the favorite.
It's not the year to be the favorite, but I do like the Oilers, and maybe this is the year that Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl fulfill that destiny that star players want to fulfill to raise that Stanley Cup. So I like the Oilers' chances, but we got a ways to go.
So we got Oilers across the board so far, but I think that's
Redmond, who do you like?
I was going to say, who in the East, Redmond? Who do you like out of the East?
Oh, you're going to make me stay in the East? No, because you guys are trying to... Listen, you guys are being bullies right now, trying to push me into a corner and make me fight my way out. But I will say this. If we've learned anything from the first round, it's like all we know is that we don't know. Like, that's why, honestly, I'm not saying this because I work for the League Network. Like, this is why I love hockey, is that over a 7-game series, so much can happen, so much can change. The momentum swings are insane. I love the Edmonton Oilers' chances. I really do. This is the best team they've had with Connor McDavid. But the Dallas Stars look really good, and they have a goaltender that can and probably will steal them games still moving forward. In the East, I mean, the Toronto Maple Leafs are stacked, too. If they can get goaltending, they could go on a deep run. And I don't even want to count out the Devils after what I've seen them do in the first round. And we talk about all the lack of experience.
There it is.
And they're young.
There it is.
They're this and they're that. I don't know. I think the Devils showed a lot of poise and composure, and I love it. And all of that in that series against the Rangers, because they could have just folded like a cheap tent after Game 2 and been done in 5.
Terrific.
They didn't do that. So they earned a lot of respect from me. What I'm saying is I don't have an answer for it.
No, I'm with you. I don't either.
Last question. That's why you're losing so much money, Obes. The answers are not clear.
You're right.
Yeah.
Last one. now that we know all of our second-round teams, when you look back at the first round, who was the standout star from the first round?
Yeah, I got to go with two guys. Obviously, Matty Tkachuk was unbelievable. And my boy, Brandon Montour, the Monty kid, I called him when I played him in San Diego. You want to talk about playing on your toes? This kid is attacking the game. He's pinching down the wall. He's jumping in. Him and Matty Tkachuk, to me, have been the two best players in the first round.
And I'm going to go to the Seattle Kraken. Jaden Schwartz, who stepped up when McCann went down. He's had 11 shots on net the next game. He scored some big goals for their team. What a building and what an electric atmosphere. And then Philip Grubauer, who stepped up against all odds and beat his old team in timely fashion. I mean, he had a great Game 7.
Yeah, he did.
First period, I'm getting texts from Obi. This game should be 4-0 right now. Well, without Philip Grubauer, it's tied 0-0, and these guys are still in it. But what an atmosphere and what a collective group effort by the Seattle Kraken in that round one.
Sounds like another game that Obi lost money on.
EJ, every game 7 I lost, fella. So back to the drawing board.
I'll tell you what, to me, the answer is lying right, Uppy, to your left, is that I thought Jack Hughes, to me, was just terrific for the Devils in that series. I mean, first playoffs.
Yeah.
You're in against the New York Rangers. What side of the river was he on in that series?
The right side.
Apparently, he was on the right side of the river, but the bottom line is...
Obi was on the wrong side.
Yeah, he's swimming. He's out there swimming across the Hudson right now.
I'm drowning.
Tough.
Trying to get back to shore.
Don't drink
But Jack Hughes, I was so impressed first go-round in the playoffs, and down 0-2, goes into the Garden, scores big goals. Really, really impressed. And he's so much fun to watch as a player.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Yeah, there was a lot of great performances. All those guys were great, but I like Jack Hughes. I thought he was terrific.
Even when he's losing an edge and wiping out, it's still entertaining. It's that clip is amazing.
I was like, what happened?
My back hurt just watching that. I was like,
I had to text Frosty and be like, what'd you do to his wheels?
right edge.
That kid never falls like that.
EJ, how does Jack Hughes get so many breakaways? Like, how does he do it? Just smart, or is he cheating, or what's he doing?
He's cheating. They're going.
Cheating.
Going
if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Times. That's right. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. There you go.
Exactly. And on that note, we're going to wrap up this bad boy of a segment. Guys, good luck, better luck with your picks in round number 2. Thanks for hopping on. Enjoy the games tonight.
Always a blast.
Thank you, guys.